Hello all, this is a look at set 400007, Ole Kirk's house. Now, we've already made a video talking about how I ended up with this set. As you know, this is a really rare set that I've somehow ended up owning. This video isn't talking about that though. This isn't talking about how rare or cool, well, it's talking about how cool this set is. It's not sort of talking about the history of this set. Well, it will be a little bit, but it's not talking about how this set is so hard to come by. This is just looking at the build itself. And as I said in that previous video, I'll do some more research onto Ole Kirk's house exactly. And luckily I don't need to, because the instructions for this set, which I'm waving around right now, come with a lot of backstory for this set. So I'm going to just read from this. So Ole Kirk's house. The founder of the Lego group, Ole Kirk Christensen, was 25 years old when he purchased the Billund timber machinist and carpentry business located in the centre of Billund. He lived and worked on this property from 1916 until 1924, when the house and his wife were taken. While Ole Kirk and his wife were taking an afternoon nap, their son played in the workshop. They ignited a glue heater full of wood shavings. Shortly after, the building was engulfed in flames. I haven't pre-read this, I don't know what's going on here. And as you can tell, somehow I read scripts for a living, though I'm sure you can see from how well I'm reading this. In the same year, Ole Kirk did some carpentry work for a new cooperative dairy in Billund. The architect responsible for designing the dairy also designed a new home for Ole Kirk and his family. This house still stands today and has always been known locally as Lofhust, the Lion House, because of the two lions guarding the front door. I don't know if this is it, I can't see any lions in there. By the standings of the day, the house was large and attractive. To make ends meet, Ole Kirk was forced to rent out as much of the house as he could. When Ole Kirk began to manufacture wooden toys in 1932, he rented out the upper story while his family lived in another part of the house. The rest of the house was used as office space. In 1942, another fire broke out and burned down the entire factory. Lots of fires here, guys. Good things you got good plastic and not wood these days. Luckily, the house itself narrowly escaped the flames. Until 1958, the house was both the family home and the toy company office. It was at this point that Godfrey Kirk Christensen had to face the fact he could no longer manage the growing company from the house, so he built Systemhuset, the system house, in Ole Kirk's garden ground. Then in 1963, the building was extended out towards Hovdegarden, Main Street, and joined Ole Kirk's house. Ole Kirk Christensen died in 1958. His widow Sophie continued to live in the house until 1962. Ole Kirk's house, together with the wood factory and Systemhuset, was sold to Billund municipality, we've had that already, in 1973, where it functioned as a town hall until 1982. Shortly after, the Lego Group reacquired the complex and began using Ole Kirk's house as part of the product development decision. Ole Kirk's house was renovated in 2002 to 2003, and since 2005 has been owned by the Lego Foundation. Today it forms part of the historical exhibition on display at the Lego House. So there you go, that was an amazing reading of me and explains a bit more about this house exactly. And also, before we talk about the actual house, I want to talk about the instructions a bit more. As you see here, there they are. It was 2 pages of instructions, and what was odd about them is they were some of the most difficult instructions I've ever had to use in Lego. Like, see if I can explain here. So normally Lego instructions are pretty easy to follow. Even the higher up, like higher, more advanced building sets are still pretty easy to follow. This one didn't really follow much rhyme or reason. I'm sort of flicking it around here. So like masses of bits to add in each part of the instructions, and it wouldn't really, like, sometimes the bits would be here, then there'd be like a bit over here as well, and then other times it was like just add one piece. It was really odd. I suspect it's because this set isn't made for public release, and he didn't sort of go as hard on making the instructions as easy to follow as they normally do, and that's fine. I still built it okay. I messed up a little bit up here. That top bit I built like too deep. And then, yeah, I sort of had to take it apart a little bit and rebuild it again. But it's all here now. Anyway, I've gone on too long about just the instruction manual. Let's talk about this actual set. And I really like this set. I have to go into more detail about why I really like it. I haven't really come across a Lego set I don't like yet. But one thing I want to do first is talk about Minifig Scale. I think this set is Minifigure Scale. So here's my Sig figure next to it of Patrick there. Yeah, I think this is pretty much Minifig Scale, or maybe a bit smaller. It's hard to tell. The only part that makes me think it isn't Minifig Scale is the door. So, like, if you pop that there, he just seems a bit too big for the doorway. Like, the minifig won't really fit in. I mean, I know my minifig's taller than normal because of the head. I think it's like 3/4 minifig scale, or maybe it is really tiny. I'm not too sure. I have to go to the actual house and find out for myself. But regardless, it would work. You could put this in a Lego like city, a Lego town, and it wouldn't look too outscale with everything else in there. So what I really like about this set is its presentation, if that makes sense. Talk about it more. Let me talk more about the actual set. So it's just a house. I'm going way too ahead of myself. It's fully built up. It hasn't got like an open back. It's designed all at the back as well. You've got like the windows at the back, got these windows up here, got the chimney sets up there. It's fully designed around every side. It's, you know, it hasn't got an empty back. And yeah, the roof does come off, he says. The roof does come off. There we go. So the roof can come off and to be a separate build. You can see it's like hollow on the inside there. And what's also hollow is the actual building itself is completely hollow as well. It's built on 3 base plates, so it might look like just one big base plate, but it's like half a base plate and then these 2 little ones down here. Got no new mould. It's got some stickers here for the window, which you see in the actual house as well. And yeah, so I think this set is a really special set. However, I think it's only good because it is such a special set, if that makes sense. When I first got this, like Lego Creator Expert came to mind, that sort of build. And if this was released under the Creator Expert line, I don't think it would be very good because it's empty. It's absolutely hollow. Like, if you look at a Creator Expert build, like the modulars, they aren't hollow like that. There's no design on the inside. It's not really an accurate colour. It's bright red. There's no buildings that are really like bright red like this. Most modulars are like beige and grey. And it's really, this is going to sound so weird talking about a Lego set, it's very blocky looking. And if you look at most modulars, they're made out of lots of like really small Lego pieces, like really well built. I think a modular is supposed to look like an actual building that happens to be made out of Lego, if that makes sense. Well, I think what's so good about this is it's fully aware it's made of Lego. It's a celebration of Lego. And that's what I think this design is supposed to be about. It uses very traditional Lego pieces, not many modern pieces, like really small little bits, no sort of Technic bits really used. Uses a lot of those sort of classic, like big bricks, the 2x2s or the 2x4s. Like, you know, you see up here, that's just a normal 2x4 piece there with some tiles on top. And it's bright red and black mainly bright red with a bit of black in it, and that sort of is the classic Lego colour. When you think of a Lego brick, you think of like a red brick, and that's what I think this set is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a version of Ole Kirk's house made out of Lego, knowing full well it's made out of Lego, almost built in the era like of Ole Kirk himself when Lego was still pretty new, like just using the basic elements of the system pieces, just presented like that. Am I making any sense right now how I like this because it's made of Lego and looks like Lego? I just think it's supposed to be like a real ode to the house it's based on and not building it in a way where it looks like the actual house itself. So if this were to look like the actual Ole Christensen's house, Ole Kirk Christensen's house, it would be all grey, it would use much more specific pieces, and it would look like a mini version of that house. Where this looks like that house made of Lego. That sounds really weird, I know it does. Please bear with me. That's the only way I can explain it, is if it's kind of like as if Ole Kirk would have this on his desk in his house, showing that it's made of Lego, and what you can do with it. It's kind of chunky, it's kind of like clunky, like real old school sort of Lego sets. It's got that sort of clunky feel to it. Hasn't got the finesse of a modern Lego set. And I really like that about this set. I think it's a really sort of good little ode to the brick. And yeah, I don't know if any of that has made sense. I haven't got a script for these videos. I just kind of ramble on for a bit. But on the whole, I really enjoy this set. I'm so thankful to have it. It's like takes center stage on my display shelves, which I'll probably be showing you guys tomorrow. I've got a video planned for tomorrow. I want to show off my display shelves. I've updated some bits on there. And yeah, so I've rambled on for too long now. Do you guys like this set? Are you a fan of it? Are you like, do you think it looks rubbish? I can't imagine. Oh, I can imagine people not thinking it might look rubbish. I can understand why people would think it looks rubbish. Like I said, it doesn't really apply to the modern conventions of what we expect from a Lego house these days. But I don't think it's supposed to. It's supposed to be like a retro set built in recent years. It's supposed to apply to those retro Lego rules, how they built Lego sets in that time. And especially applying to those sort of colours they used in that time. It was all like bright red and blue and blacks. That's all you really had back then. And that captures that time period perfectly in perhaps the most important house there is for Lego. Anyway, like I said, I've rambled on for far too long now, guys. Take care.